I'll mention it. You know, it wasn't always rainbow and
Exactly.
butterflies. It was definitely a challenge a lot of the
Butterflies,
time.
sunshines.
I like rainbows and butterflies. My name is Ethan Braekevelt, and I'm one of the co-creators of Life to Launch. This is my journey. So about a year and a half ago, Denise and her husband Rick came over to my family's house to have a dinner because they're our family friends. And I just started speaking about all of my goals in life, and it just clicked really well with Denise. She had been wanting to start a Gen Z organization for about 2 years prior to meeting me at that dinner, and she was looking for a Gen Z member that could help co-create Life to Launch with her. So after that dinner, it just lit a spark in her, I believe, and she then reached out to me to have a couple meetings where she then pitched the organization she wanted to create, and we kind of came to an agreement and figured out that it would be a good opportunity to co-create and collaborate together on it. And at the time, I was knocking doors for a solar company, which was a pretty draining job, and I was kind of ready to make a change into something that gave me more purpose and more passion. So it lined up really well, and that's kind of how the beginning stages of Life to Launch started. So then we got right to work and started having Zoom meetings with different startup coaches and people in Denise's circle of entrepreneurs that gave us a lot of advice on how to take our ideas for the organization and create some sort of foundation so that we could start creating actual tools and resources for our target Gen Z audience, and then also start pitching our organization to different foundations and people that could fund us. So one of the things we realized while we were doing those meetings was that we believed that we knew a lot of the answers, but we didn't have a lot of proof to basically validate our own opinions regarding how the system works right now when it comes to life launching. So we knew that we needed to get the voices of the youth, and using my social media experience, the best way we thought we could do that was through an online survey. So we went ahead and created a Google survey that then was accompanied with an ad that I made and ran on social media with a $100 incentive. So with that incentive and a small short pitch of who we were as an organization, we got around 60 Gen Z members to fill out the survey, asking about a lot of different questions regarding to launching into their careers and the support that they had throughout high school and so forth. One of the cool things about starting with Denise was that I was able to pick all of my dream camera equipment, basically, that I thought the Life to Launch team needed in order to create good social media content to grow our presence online. So I had access to professional grade quality equipment from the start, and that really kickstarted my abilities and skills. So now I can go do that for other people as well, which is really cool. One thing I should mention as well is that at that moment, Denise's son, Luke, he started to help out with videography as well, since that was one of his main passions. And we had all this new equipment for the Life to Launch team, and we wanted to put it to use. And we thought the best way to do so was to create a videography project. And we started a artist success story series. And within 1 week, we found 6 different artists and interviewed, I think, 5 of them within the first week. And then we spent the next couple months editing all that footage, which took quite a while to get out fully, but that was a really cool experience as well. And we got to shine a light on different artists from different disciplines and basically their come-up story from different walks of life as well, which was amazing. As we were finishing up our success story interviews, Luke came to the realization that he wanted to make a big change in his current path that he was on, and was inspired by the people that we filmed and chose to unenroll from his college in Seton Hall in New Jersey. And he claimed that that idea came to fruition through some of those interviews that we filmed, how they spoke about, going against the grain and making those big leaps of faith. So once Luke had made that decision to unenroll from Seton Hall in New Jersey, Denise came up with the idea of creating a Life to Launch trip down to New York/New Jersey to capture his unenrollment from his college. So within 3 days of Denise pitching that idea to me, I was on a plane to New York with Luke and Denise, where we then spent 3 more days filming Luke unenroll from his college, move out of his dorm room, and then film his last basketball game at Seton Hall, which was pretty amazing as well because that was one of his passions. After our trip to New York, I kept bugging Denise about getting us an office space. I enjoyed working from home and joining Zoom calls whenever I wanted, of course, but I knew that in order for us to really grow and fully be on the same page, it would be helpful for us to now and then be able to meet in person and have somewhere we can designate as a creative space to continue to develop Life to Launch. So we got our own little office space, which was cool, and we made it into just a cool little creative studio for Life to Launch's further development. When we first started, we knew we wanted to create a tool of sorts that could potentially give more guidance and structure to the life launching process. And through quite a few of our different minds and ways of thinking and ideas, we came up with our roadmap tool, which is something we still are developing to this day and are implementing now with different organizations as well. The roadmap was an exciting time because it gave us an opportunity to finally create something tangible that we felt like could really have an impact to Gen Z and give people more structure as they're launching into their adulthood and independence. So now that we had our branding put together, we had some social media content made, we had our first tool in the beginning stages of development, we realized we needed to have a good website so that people could land on that and have access to all of these different pieces of content we've made. So I went ahead and just started to create a placeholder website, and I created a banner video, which was really cool, that included some of the different footage I had filmed through our different projects with Life to Launch. After those projects, we kind of decided that we needed a bit more of a social media presence. So I went to the streets with some of our local videographers that we had met along the way, and we filmed public interviews. I think within the span of around 16 hours, we were able to interview around 100 different people through the streets of Portland, Milwaukee, and Vancouver waterfront here in Washington. As I was filming those public interviews at the Vancouver waterfront in Washington, I met Lewis, who is the owner of the Fire DJs. And that's where I discovered that mobile DJing was even a career. And at that point, I was looking for something to do on the sides, and it seemed really intriguing as well. And 3 days later, I connected with him and I shadowed him at an elementary school dance while he was providing his DJ services. And then I went ahead and bought my own equipment, started taking lessons with one of the DJs, and then to this day, I'm still a DJ for that company. And that is actually now something too that I'm switching into full time, but I'll get to that here in a sec. So after doing those public interviews and finishing up the spring with Life to Launch, I had a big Europe trip that had already been in the books for a while. It was a high school graduation gift from my grandparents, which was very amazing. And I ended up going to Europe for 40 days. So after I got back from my Europe trip, the Life to Launch team got the opportunity to go down to the Working Together Workforce Conference in Southern Oregon. We spent a few months preparing for this workforce conference, making different pieces of content like our backdrop video that we displayed on a TV at our booth, and also our film festival that we premiered after the Working Together Workforce Conference. So once we got down to Salem, to the Working Together Workforce Conference, we started to set up our booth that we had, where we basically just networked with all the attendees of the Workforce Conference and basically explained what our mission was and the tools and resources that we were working on. One of the cool things that Salah and I did was sit down at different tables while we had our lunch breaks and our breakfasts to step out of our comfort zone and network and meet new people who ended up actually then reaching out to us later on and those are still different organizations that we are working with. We also started to interview some of the attendees at our makeshift interview setup at our booth. And then I also got the chance to speak at the Spilling Tea on Youth Internships breakout session, where I discussed my experiences with working different jobs throughout my years in high school and the importance of youth being able to have accessibility to internship programs starting off at a younger age. After the Workforce Conference, we also premiered our Real Launchers Film Festival. That was an exciting time because it was the first time that we showcased some of the content that we had made over the past 18 months for an audience. And even though our audience was small, it was still mighty, and we inspired those few people that did show up and were able to make it, all the way to the point where those were connections that ended up leading to many meetings over Zoom and further on networking and stuff for our organization, which was really cool. After our Workforce Conference, we went ahead and created our roadmap series of posts, which took quite a while, I think, maybe about a month or so. Salah and I got really busy and created around 15 posts revolving around all the different steps in our roadmap. Each of those steps in our roadmap got 2 different slide posts with tools, resources, and then what those different topics were and why they were important. And then also a public interview where Salah and I, once again, took about a week to go to different parts in the area and interview different demographics about the roadmap and the life launching process that they were taking. More Zoom meetings. Oh, we did a lot of Zoom meetings. I actually like the Zoom meetings. Salah might not like them as much.
I love them.
Oh, you do?
They were just repetitive.
They're repetitive, yeah. No, so we did have a lot of Zoom meetings like throughout this whole process, which was cool. It was a cool opportunity, and it was a lot of repetition just to learn like how to pitch what we do as an organization, what we're focusing on, how to allow other people to understand what our mission is. That's another one. And yeah, it was a cool opportunity to meet a lot of important people as well and have really good creative discussions. So we continue to do those as well throughout that whole development of Life to Launch pretty much. So after all those projects recently, I had a trip planned to go to Austin, Texas. I went with my dad to see the solar eclipse and then also stay for a week with one of my friends that lives down there because it is the city that I'm planning on moving to in early September, which is really exciting for me. And it was another just good little break from all the busy work here in Oregon. And yeah, so just a good time to kind of reflect on my position right now in life and my next big chapter that I'm getting close to starting, where I will just continue to do my DJing services with the Fire DJs. And I am opening a branch for the company as well out in Austin, Texas, which is really exciting as I launch my clothing brand, which is something that I am super passionate about and want to pursue for the rest of my life. So with deciding to put all of my attention to those things, I also do need to stop putting my attention towards working with Life to Launch. That's kind of a big part of why I wanted to come onto here and tell my journey, because it has been an amazing ride and opportunity for me to learn about a lot of different things and a lot of different skills. And ironically, it has launched me into life and given me an amazing launch pad for me to now take into my career and my path and journey that gives me the most amount of drive and passion in life. No journey is complete without some hard moments, and that's exactly, why I liked working with Life to Launch and the team, because it did keep me on my toes and it made me a lot better at adapting. I definitely had quite a few challenges here and there, whether it was just disagreeing with certain ways that we wanted to do things as a team, or my personal things that I was dealing with in my personal life due to some lessons I had to learn, let's just say that. It wasn't always that easy, and it definitely was challenging, and there were some hard times, for sure, where we just saw differently and wanted to pursue different projects, for example. But at the end of the day, I'm very grateful for this opportunity because I was able to learn a lot about how to work with a lot of different kinds of people. I think it's super important to be able to work with people that think differently than you do, have different opinions or different beliefs than you do, because at the end of the day, life is all about collaborating and co-creating, and we can't do anything alone. It takes a village to create an organization, and a lot of the times you don't know what you don't know, and being put in a room with someone who has opposing opinions of you can actually open a lot of doors and shine light on different ways of thinking that you thought weren't even possible. So you do learn a lot with working with people that are different than you. So that definitely, although it was challenging, I always loved the challenge and loved the opportunity, to be able to grow as a person and become more of a capable worker out here in this world. So I now continue to use those new skills and continue to be open to new opportunities and lessons. I'm on my own journey. This is the right path that I feel like is right for me. People won't always agree with my choices, but people will also love my choices at the same time. So at the end of the day, I just want to continue to focus on being me and treating people how I want to be treated, and not afraid to make changes, not afraid to adapt, be uncomfortable, put myself in new opportunities and new situations, because that's when I believe that I learn and grow the most, which I think is what life's biggest thrill is about. So it's been an amazing journey, and I really look forward to watching Life to Launch continue to flourish. And I'm excited to leave Life to Launch from a professional standpoint at its place where it's at right now, knowing that we have a good foundation built, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what the next big steps are. It's now up to the team as well, and I look forward to watching it. My name is Ethan Braekevelt. I'm one of the co-creators of Life to Launch, and this was my journey. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it'll be linked in the description, and you'll be able to find my clothing brand on there, the DJ company, and I look forward to creating a lot more content as well on my own for YouTube, and doing a lot of amazing things, hopefully, and inspiring more people as I continue in my path. Thank you for watching, and have a great journey yourself as well. I don't know why I said it like that.
Next is more Zoom meetings to discuss potential partnerships.
Sorry, dude. I feel like I just look at myself and I feel like I probably look like a sloth, or I don't know.
A yapper? You feel like a yapper right now?
A sloth? No, like
Sloth.
no, because the face I made at the end, I was like, huh. It's like I'm just so stupid. Anyways, all right.